What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Jeremy Wade, content writer, chief content writer here for the Black American market. We had a little technical difficulty, so I went ahead and restarted the live. Hopefully, you all can hear me now. Type a one in the chat if you all can hear me. I am not sure what's going on. Instagram is always acting up, and never really sure what you can expect on the Instagram live. So, all right, great. So you all can hear me. I had some music on when I first joined, so I always have some music on. So if you can't hear me when you start off, it's the music playing. So appreciate that you all can hear me now. But I want you all to drop I want you all to drop where you're at in the comments. I appreciate what you all are doing, and how you all are taking out the time to come in and be with me tonight. So appreciate what you all are doing. I know it's 7:32. We're about to get started right now. So I want you all to share this live with at least 5 people. Share this live. Hit this airplane button right here and share this live with at least 5 people. Really am super excited to have this guest up here tonight, and I want to be able to create a unique environment for her. So when you share the live with 5 people, comment done, and then we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and invite the guest up here. Super excited to have her. Invited her up here, and we're going to get started with this interview. It's a phenomenal Wednesday. Glad to have this young woman up here. Thank you, Miss Williams, for joining us tonight. I am super excited to interview you. It's been a while since I had someone within the media space and the communication space to be able to interview. So it's glad to see what you're doing. I was able to do some research on you, and I want to say first of all, thank you on behalf of the Black American market for even letting us feature you, because I know you do have so many things that you have going on, and the excellence that you're operating in that zone of genius. I know it takes a lot, so we want to say thank you for what you're doing. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and let us know who you are, what you do, and why you serve.
Oh, thank you for inviting me onto your platform. I'm very grateful of that. I just want to say that it's a blessing. So my name is Tia Nicole. I go by Tia Nicole. I am a content creator. My business is Tianicolemedia. So I have a media production company, and it is a company that produces promotional videos for small businesses and organizations. I also do product photography for those businesses who sell clothes, any type of products, food, liquor, almost anything that you can sell, we take pictures of it. I started my business in the middle of a global pandemic. So a lot of people were put out of work. I was one of those people. So I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? So I started off by making YouTube videos. My first YouTube video was 10 different things that you can do during the pandemic. A lot of people were complaining about being stuck in a house with nothing to do. So I'm like, all right, I'm about to just make a video. 10 different things you can do with your time. So the next video turned into like an introduction video of who I am, what I represent, what I'm doing. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start interviewing small businesses to allow them to explain their journey and how they got started with their business. And then that way it'll allow them to be introduced to a new audience to maybe help them stay in business. Because there's a lot of businesses that went out of business temporarily and permanently. So I started doing that. I think I got about 20 episodes as of right now. So after that, I decided, like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and start making content for these companies so they can just advertise what it is that they do through a visual concept. And that's how I started my business. I really started on YouTube and just interviewing people. And just one thing just led to another. I just kept coming up with different ideas of how to just actually create a whole business.
That's amazing. And it's very inspiring to see kind of how you've adapted and been able to pivot amid a pandemic. And I love the way that you're continuing to inspire others. So I definitely wanted to know, kind of like was the true inspiration for you starting your business? Like what was that spark that clicked that said, I need to do this?
Well, it's actually me being laid off from work. I'm just like, man, like this is really like, a job is not guaranteed. People always say, oh, job security, go to school, get a job, but a job is not guaranteed. And everybody see that during the pandemic. So I'm just like, all right, I might as well, literally have no choice but to just create something that I can't be fired from. And then to set my own salary of how much I want to make. There's no cap of, oh, you're only going to make 60K and that's it. I can set my own salary. So that's really what, and then just the financial freedom to really just be able to set your own schedule. You don't have to ask for time off. You don't have to, oh, I got to punch a clock 40 hours a week. You can set your own schedule, your own hours. You have the freedom to do whatever it is you want. You have more time for your family. You have more time for your kids. If you have kids, you have more time for you and to travel the world and do the things that you enjoy to do.
That's amazing, and I really appreciate that because I think so many times we neglect the time management and how we can be able to build financial freedom, but also the stability to do what we want outside of our professional endeavors. So I definitely wanted to kind of know like some of the adversity that you face and how you overcome that as a business owner.
Some of the adversities now. Okay, so I've always heard people say like it take 2 to 3 years to really jump start when you're first starting as a business owner. So I only been in business for 2 years now. So it's still a bit of a struggle. I'm still learning, I mean, I wasn't taught how to run a business from a kid up until now. I'm just now learning all this stuff now. Never thought I was going to be a business owner. So I'm actually still working a full-time job and trying to manage my business on the side, so eventually I'll be able to quit my full-time job and fully work for myself full on. But a lot of people are not talking about that. They're not talking about how, okay, I'm still working a full-time job. I'm still trying to make ends meet while I'm getting my business off the ground. Everybody just kind of like, oh, it's so easy, just start a business. No, it's not easy because it's just like, it's be days where I just be like, you know what, maybe I should give up, or maybe this not for me. Maybe this not the path God has for me. I mean, it's tiring. Like you really have to make time. It's all about discipline. You got to discipline yourself to set aside time to really nurture your business. Just like this year, I've really been focused more on marketing and doing partnerships and actually partnering with other people and just really going to a lot more networking events and networking with different people. Your network is your net worth. So I've heard somebody say that. So now I'm going to say it because I truly believe that. It's all about who you know and being around the right people who can put you in a position to win, who actually just need your services. So those are some of the adversities, just trying to manage your full-time job and your business and trying to make that transition to leaving your full-time job aside and being able to make enough money to where you can just work for yourself full on.
Yeah, I know, and that it can be challenging, and you mentioned that it definitely is hard to stay disciplined and focused because there's so
Mm-hmm.
many distractions and temptations, and there's so many people
Yep.
out there that's telling you that you should go right or left instead of keeping straight. And I think it's so many ways that people will attempt to guide you in their best idea of what your life should be like. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate that the fact that you acknowledge that and then are able to stay focused. And so I wanted to ask you, what would be your advice for an aspiring entrepreneur that is looking at your business and your brand, because you do diverse things. Like, I mean, the photography is one, but then I saw you do you do some modeling as well. So there's some different things that you're diversified in. What advice would you give a future aspiring creative or entrepreneur to stay innovative and creative and stay disciplined and focused, like you mentioned?
Wow, that's a lot to take in. Repeat that question because that was a long that was a long
what
question.
what what advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur?
aspiring entrepreneur, the advice I would give them is to really just hone into what your specific skill set is. Like, everybody is gifted in different ways. It doesn't have to be dancing or singing. It could be that you are a good organizer or you give good advice. So hone into what you are naturally good at and find a way to make money off of that. It's too many people trying to copy and mimic what somebody else is doing because they see the attention that they are getting. And it's like, you may not be gifted in that. You may not be skilled in that. Find out what you enjoy and what you're good at and what God called you to do. Find out what your assignment is, not somebody else's assignment, what your assignment is, and do that no matter what anybody else says about it. So that will be my advice, and just really just don't give up and just forget about the naysayers. I mean, your biggest supporters are going to be people that you don't know. It's going to be strangers. I'm going to tell you that right now. And once you start to elevate, you're going to lose friends. That's another thing. People don't want to talk about that. You're going to lose friends. Like they say, it's a little lonely at the top. It's a little lonely. And I'm not even all the way there yet. And I already see it. I'm not even all the way there yet. And I'm just like, wow, like I see people, dropping like flies. So you got to get comfortable with getting to know strangers and different people that you don't know and networking with people you don't know. Because those are going to be people that's going to help you win.
Yeah, and I firmly believe that the magic happens outside of your comfort zone. And I really
Yep.
appreciate the fact that you have mentioned that, you're going to have to get almost comfortable, like not being around those friends that really don't see the vision and don't really invest the time and the quality and just have that true commitment. Because I know for myself, there's some things that I need to internally work on to be able to get to the point where I, can see and actualize the vision. But the key for me that I don't see in others that are not around me anymore is I still believe and know that, I can get it done. And so one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, given your expertise, is why do you believe that having an online presence is important in our society today?
Ooh, the online presence. I mean, almost everybody is on social media. Even businesses, they have multiple social media platforms. It's free advertisement. Why not use it? I mean, to get a spot on a TV or a billboard, I mean, that costs a lot of money that most people don't have. So I always feel like use what you have and use with the free resources. I mean, eventually you're going to have to pay money and invest in certain things, but use the free resources that you have to advertise yourself and put yourself out there. You got to believe in yourself before somebody else believes in you. If you're not posting things and you're not talking about the things that you're doing or showcasing your work or your skill set, nobody's going to see it. And it's like social media is the easiest way for people to see what it is that you do and what you offer.
Gotcha.
Like, people have found, 'cause I think somebody from your team just found my page on the Discover page, because I asked them, like, oh, well, how did you find me? Oh, one of your posts showed up on the Discover page. So I wouldn't even be sitting here on this interview if I wouldn't have been more active on social media and just posting things.
Understood, and I appreciate that, and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
goes to my next question as well, because of what you do and how well you do it. Why should business owners consider investing in promotional videos? Because I believe that they have a lot to do with the engagement and the eyeballs that are attracted to a product. But I want you to let the people know why promotional videos are so important.
Well, promotional videos are so important because I just feel like you have to show, it's easier for people to just see what it is that you do versus to listen and hear about it. If they see a visual concept in a unique way and it's telling a short story that this is what we offer, this is what we do, and this is why you should do business with us, then it draws people in like, oh, I can relate to that for whatever reason. So I'm about to go do business with them. Or sometimes people hear someone's story, their backstory, like, oh, wow, I can relate to that because I went through that, or I know somebody who went through that. So I want to do business with them based upon that alone. So I think that's why visual promotional videos is really good to advertise for people businesses.
That's amazing. I thank you for like clarifying that because I've always thought of visuals as a weakness of mine, and that's why I always just stick to my lane of genius and look to repurpose the visuals. And I wanted to ask you because I know we had talked about it earlier. In what ways would you see video being repurposed when you get to the point when you're ready to actually step into that?
In what ways do I see video being repurposed?
As content, yes. Like, how would you repurpose the videos that you curate, like into written content or oral content, like podcasts? Would you like graphics, presentations? How would you see yourself repurposing videos that you create?
Well, some of my videos, so I actually do voiceover work as well. So some of my content is not a video and it's just something that you listen to. It may be just like a quick promo that
Mm.
you're listening to and it got music behind it. So that may be more so for something like for radio or for something that just doesn't require, they may want to just show some pictures or they may just want to just put a voiceover up because somebody may just want to listen to something. So that's something that's like an actual another service that I offer as well. If somebody they need a talent to be a voiceover because they don't want to use their own voice or they don't want to use any of their team member voices, they can hire me for that or to be the face of their promo or their commercial as well. So that's something else. That made me think of that. That's something else that I offer in my business all together combined. They don't have to go and outsource talent.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That just shows the range and the diversity that you have as a business owner. So I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
that. That's really dope. And one of the things that I wanted to know too is like we just started quarter two, and I wanted to know kind of like what are some of your business goals for this quarter?
Oh, for this quarter, I've really been focusing on marketing, marketing my business to a larger range of people, to my target audience, which is small businesses and organizations. So I've been partnering with a couple different organizations to make that happen. So that's like really my main focus right now and kind of just shifting my branding just a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on, marketing and my branding for my business to make sure I'm branding myself the right way and getting in front of the right people who actually need my services.
That's good because I think so many times we forget about like the fundamentals of business and we forget about how we can be able to market and brand our business and why that's so important. And I really appreciate you kind of bringing light and shedding light on that. And so when it comes to marketing your business, what are some of your favorite ways to market and brand your business?
Some of my favorite ways is really just using social media and just kind of like trying out because I'm not expert at this, so I just kind of like try out different stuff. Like one week I'll focus on showing different product photos, like and saying like, hey guys, don't forget, making it in a way so where it's like, don't forget that we offer this service as well. Then the next week I'll show some video content, like this is what we do as well. Then the next week, I'll focus on some of the voiceover stuff that we do and some of the on camera stuff that we do. And then the following week after that, I'll showcase like, hey, we do businesses. No, we do interviews for small businesses on our YouTube show. You know, if you're interested in being featured, you know, please reach out to us. So I can just kind of like showcase different things because sometimes people can kind of forget like the list of things that you do when it's more than just one thing. So I'll focus on something different every week and I'll focus on sending out email marketing. But now I'm kind of focused more on doing partnerships with people to reach a larger range of people, not off social media, more so like on TV and different networks and stuff like that. So even more people can see.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that's eye opening too. It kind of it definitely gives me something to think about, and I appreciate that. And so one of the things that I wanted to kind of dive into now is kind of like how could like we at Black American Market, how can we be a resource and tool further beyond a feature like this to help you grow within the Black community?
That's a good question. I would just say like maybe like a networking event to like have for like a lot of different people to come together and just kind of meet that way. I feel like you never know who you're going to run into, who's going to be there. Just being in like a comfortable setting where, maybe there may be an activity or a short introduction and people just like have drinks or like some small snacks and stuff like that. And everybody just kind of like introduce themselves and talk, and it's just casual. And you see who you kind of run into. I think that would be like a good way for people to meet people in person, because it's just like everything for like the last couple of years has been virtual, virtual, virtual. And I don't think like it's nothing wrong with having a virtual event, but I just think it's more personable when you're in person and you actually shake somebody's hand and read their energy and actually stand there in front of them and just have a conversation.
Yeah, no, that definitely is true. And I've seen online where, some conferences are coming back in person in June, and even May. And I love the fact that when you get that in-person interaction, you build rapport with
Mm-hmm.
your ideal clients or your community. So I wanted to ask you, how important is community and collaboration? Like, how important is that for you to be able to continue that form of building community and, getting to know other people and collaborating with them to see how you can add value?
I think collaborations is very important. I just feel like trying to do everything on your own, I feel like it's just going to take you longer and it's just harder to get to where you're trying to go and reach your goals when you're doing everything by yourself. It's just like a team. I mean, a basketball team, for instance, like one person can't do everything. You need team players to help out. You may be weak in some areas where somebody else may be strong in, and vice versa. So I just feel like two heads are always better than one. You may have an idea that I don't have, and vice versa. We can help each other grow and just put each other on. And it's just about sharing the wealth. That's kind of like how I started my business. I found a way to help other people gain exposure while helping myself and building my own business at the same time. And a lot of people say like you got to help yourself first, but I found a way to kind of do it both at the same time. I'm helping other people and giving them a little bit of exposure to a new audience by interviewing them on my show while still building my own empire.
Yeah, but and that's kind of like that's a great. I love that, and I'm glad you brought it up. I kind of want to get into that because like, where do you draw the line, right? Like, I mean, like, because I know for me, that's something that I love to do too, and like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that it's a real tough conversation, and then that's why I kind of like have kind of taken a step back from some platforms, but I've also learn how to put myself in positions of where I know there's genuine and authentic people. Like, how do you find that kind of that thin line where you know that you're adding value, you're giving people a platform that they can utilize, but you're also allowing people to see the credible content that you're creating? Where is that thin line for you in the midst of like having those interviews and creating that content?
So what I do, I draw the line. How I do it is like I'm in different like Facebook groups and stuff. And so like I'll go on there and I'll tell them like, hey, I'm looking for small businesses to interview. Now I'll just do one interview and it'll be like maybe 20 minutes or less. And I'll post that and I'll tell them they can share it. But I'm not like sitting here doing like a bunch of content for them, like making promotional videos and product photography shoots. I'm not doing all of that. Like you get this interview and then it's like, okay, if you want to do business, that's fine. Here's the prices for that. So just like when I first started, I did like a couple things for free because I'm just like, okay, if I do this, I want you to share it with your audience and tag me or whatever, give me a shout out. I just feel like it's up to you to kind of like just put that number on how many things you're going to do for free before you start charging. That number may be 3. That number may, you just got to have, it's everybody different. So I did a few things and then I'm like, all right, well, that's enough for me to kind of like get the ball rolling. I'm not going to keep doing things for free for the next year or two. Then it's kind of like you spreading yourself thin. So
Yeah.
I feel like you just got to sit down with yourself and just be realistic and know that, it's kind of like you're getting something out of it, by them sharing it or
Mm.
whatever. And so I think that's a good way, because people will people will try to take advantage, because I've experienced that. Like, you do one thing for free and they come back like, oh, well, can you do this? Like, okay, well, now you have to pay. You're not about to just keep getting freebies from me. If you like my work and you say you respect it, then it's like, all right, respect it enough to pay. You're not gonna walk in Louis Vuitton and do that. You're not gonna walk in Macy's and do that. You're not gonna walk in all these other expensive brands and do that. So don't come to me and do it. So it's just all about, you just gotta let people know, like, all right, I did that one for free. All right, if you want to continue on, now you gotta pay.
Yeah, nah,
And it's just that they don't like it. They don't like it.
yeah, and honestly, like I really, I'm, I really have learned that, like, for me, that has become like a beacon of why like certain people just like don't really acknowledge the value that some people have to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that is it's definitely something that really I'm has made me transition into the corporate space, because I feel like some people, or majority of the people that we're like collaborating with, or we find our time giving that time to, it's sort of the blurry lines are like, we don't know. So I really appreciate you for kind of shedding light on that. And so I mean I really wanted to say that there's so many things that we can do it together that we can't do like separately. And so you brought
Mm-hmm.
so much light to that, and I really appreciate just like for how you've been able to you articulate yourself and how you've been able to present yourself. And so I definitely wanted to allow you to give some last minute tips and some last minute just any advice that you have for us. I would love to hear that, because I think it's so essential for the people that are watching this and that are going to catch the replay to know where they
Mm-hmm.
go at, know where your next event is going to be, and just know how they can continue to keep in touch with you, because I think what you're doing is amazing. And I think while you're on the rise and continuing to grow, we have similar interests, and I think it's only right if and when the opportunity presents itself that business owners like us support each other. And that's what the Black American market is for. And that's why I'm super excited to be the chief content writer here, because there's so many opportunities to meet people like you. So go ahead and like, as I like to say, give us the benediction, like give us the last minute words, last minute tips. And I definitely look forward to speaking with you offline to see how I can contribute and add value.
Okay. So my last minute words is, just because somebody doesn't see your value, that doesn't diminish your value. That means you just need to get around people who value you. Go where you are celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Mm,
So just because
that,
people
that,
don't see your value in what you do or who you are, that means you need to eliminate them from your life, and you need to find a new circle and a new network, because it's somebody that's going to value you and your character or whatever it is that you do. Somebody's going to value your work. Because I started to get disappointed too, like, dang, like, people don't see the value in what I'm doing. I'm just like, nah, I'm just gonna keep going. You got to keep going. It's hard and it's rough, but you just got to keep your faith strong and keep your faith in God and know that He gonna follow through. He didn't bring you this far just to leave you hanging. It's gonna come. We just all got to learn that patience, and that's what I've been working on. This patience. It's gonna come. He is. It's on the way. Patience. Everything that come fast don't last long. So you remember that. Like, people that's, oh, I came up quick, and then they come crackling right on down.
the
So
the
anything
one
that come fast don't last long.
the one
So
hit
just know that anything that is worth having is worth working for, and it's gonna take some time to get it, but you gonna keep it for the long run.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
how people can get in contact with me, they can visit www.tianicolemedia.com. They can check out my portfolio. They can contact me with any questions or concerns. They can also reach out if they're interested in being a guest on the Activated Journey show, which is on YouTube. We can talk about their journey and how they started their business or their organization. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Tia Nicole Media. So that's how people can get in contact with me. That's how people can stay in touch. I mean, everybody just, you think about starting a business, just go for it. It doesn't matter what nobody say, just follow the path that God has given you.
Nah, I appreciate that. That means a lot, especially coming, from someone like myself, but also to those that are listening and those that are part of the BAM family. It definitely, it's so just exciting to come on here and get that motivation because I think
Mm-hmm.
many times we forget the little things that make the bigger picture so clear. So, um,
Yeah.
what you have said and kind of this conversation because it's truly needed, and so I want to really say thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And celebrate your small wins too. That's another thing I want to say.
Yeah.
Celebrate your small wins because it matters.
Definitely, definitely. I myself, like, as I make this transition from entrepreneurship to corporate space, I celebrate these interviews that I get, and even like as a paid blogger, like I make passive income on this platform, and I just made a post
Mm-hmm.
today. I got paid 66 cents my first month of monetization, and in the second month, which was last month, it went up to $3 and some odd change. So you went from coins to dollars, and so um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing to see the growth. And now, I think for me, right now is continuing to operate in my zone of genius means self care, taking care of my mental state, my physical state, because
Yes.
so we go so full speed, and I'll be vulnerable right now before we close out. Like sometimes we go 1,000 miles per hour. In my 20s, I'm 31 right now.
Mm-hmm.
My 20s, I'll go 1,000 miles per hour doing everything and anything for everyone else, not realizing that my brand is not
Here
being
you.
it's not being really carried, and the credibility and the respect is not there. So I mean, for me now, it's just all about making strategic decisions that actually allow me to have a greater purpose that's bigger than myself, and the impact be heard. And so I really appreciate, like I said, the insight and the fruition of someone like you that has your experience, that is has that spiritual relationship with God. I appreciate that because I am someone that believes in God, and I think that that's phenomenal. It's just the little things, like I downloaded a devotional app yesterday for men, like, and it was phenomenal to just browse through it today, and I'm gonna go through it tonight to read some scriptures. Like, I mean, like just the
Yeah.
little changes that you're making, like for me, it's all about getting 1% better each day. Like I can tell you, like there's days that I wake up drained, but going on and having conversations like this, just showing up imperfect and taking those imperfect actions, or things that
Mm-hmm.
continue to motivate me. So like I definitely, like I said, the appreciation for someone like you is phenomenal, and just to be able to work alongside someone like you and feature someone like you on this business series is amazing. So thank you so much for what you do, and I can't wait to continue to hopefully work with you and learn from you. So with that being said, you have any last minute words before we close out?
I just want to thank you all again for, finding me and reaching out and inviting me on here. I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be able to come on here and actually share what it is that I do and share the insight that I do have and the knowledge that I've learned thus far.
No problem. Thank you for having us, and we really appreciate what you're doing. And like I say, any way that we can help you out the Black American market, we're definitely gonna be open to doing so. So with that being said, you already know what it is. It's your favorite sensei with the wordplay. It's Progress J. Definitely catch these business interviews Monday through Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then on Friday you can catch Morgan Cleveland going over some business tips with you all, and highlighting some phenomenal entrepreneurs that are in the subscription box. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the link in our bio. We have a lot of information that's going up on the website weekly, daily. So there's so many things that are coming up in quarter 2 for Black American market. I really want you all to stay tuned. But for now, this is It's Progress Jay signing off. Thank you so much, Miss Tia Williams. We appreciate you, and I cannot wait to see what God has for you in this quarter.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
You too.